Hello, everyone. Welcome to Franko's Kitchen. I am Franko Semenko. I am thankful to be part of the Sage Stream with Anthony Cirillo and many others for the Senior Education and Entertainment Network. I'm very thankful to be a part of this. As a trained chef, I've worked in the industry for over 25 years, ever since high school. And I have currently treating the homeless and catering to the homeless through various churches and other functions. Now, in saying that, we are thankful to be able to provide, to connect, educate, and celebrate senior living, as well as being able to help in any culinary ventures. So tonight, we are going to be making chicken marsala. It's a wonderful dish. You may have had it. You probably have made it yourself. But tonight, we're going classic on this. So I want to turn my attention to some of the ingredients of what we're going to need this evening. So let's dive in. And as we see, we have some fresh chicken that I'm going to cut up from the chicken breast. About 3 to 4 eggs that we're going to lift and whisk together. We're going to have some flour, and the key to that is adding some granulated garlic to the mix. We have fresh mushrooms that are already pre-cut, half of an onion. We also have green onions. Now, as for a type of garnish, locally, I've met up with some people from what are called backyard sprouts. These are very nice, organic, spicy salad mix. In addition, we are using granulated garlic. We are also going to use a little bit of Parmesan and garlic. We will also use chicken stock. So, as you see, I've already pre-made the chicken stock. You can also buy that in a can. But most of all, the main ingredient is Marsala wine. And that, my friends, can be various on any time. Now, if you see this, I'm not really promoting any brand specifically, but Colombo, it does a good job. It's sweet. It really does a fine texture to absorb into the chicken. And overall, the product comes out very nice. Now, we're going to get started here. So I'm going to try to turn the attention as I can show you to turn it down. And as you see, I have my cutting board and knife. I've already washed the hands. So we're going to get started. As you see the chicken here, I'm basically going to trim off the fat and get rid of that as well. Now, I'm going to cut this in half. Why? You could also butterfly the chicken, or you could easily just take a nice slit and you can make 4 individual breasts, 2 individual breasts each. Okay? That's what I'm doing first. And I'm going to set that already into the mixture of egg. Then secondly, I have the chicken. Again, I'm cutting out and trimming the fat. I'm going to smooth it out a little bit. And I'm going to just slice it just so nicely. Again, you could butterfly it if you like, and you'll see why in a minute. Or you can cut it in half. For this purpose, I'm cutting it in half. Now, the one fun part about all this is that I've already pre-cut the mushrooms, the onions, the green onions. I have the sprouts ready. So we're going to move this back just a tiny bit because we're going to get on the grill here. I have a stick of butter. So I don't do much olive oil with this, but I do 1 stick of butter. It could be 4 tablespoons. But I use fresh olive oil. and add that to the mix. Now, you're going to see how that turns into play in just a few minutes as I get the chicken, douse it in, and I get it all nice and workable. Meanwhile, that butter and olive oil mixture is mixing up together. Get the chicken, bring over your fresh flour, and my trick is I always add garlic to everything. Okay, that's my secret. Everyone who really knows me knows that I always cook with garlic. So you have the egg mixture, egg wash, put it in the flour, kind of douse it in there, get it in, get that going. Meanwhile, you have this wonderful mixture that's cooking up here. It's getting nice and warm. We're going to add a little bit more olive oil. You want that to get nice and hot. For all intents and purposes, we're using olive oil instead of cooking with canola or other issues because of certain concerns. I like a taste. Olive oil has a great taste. Put that chicken in here, and I'm going to let it cook for at least 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes on each side. Once I'm done, I'm going to add the onions, the chicken stock, Marsala. I'm going to add some green onions as well. So, here we go with the second piece. And I'm going to show you a picture of this in just a moment. As you can probably hear, it's sizzling. And that's a wonderful thing. So, one of the things I like about this dish is the flavor. You can't beat it. You can't beat Marsala. Now, I've known persons who have allergies to mushrooms. Okay, that's understandable. So, if you do have that type of allergy, you can always substitute mushrooms for whatever you really desire. I mean, you could put in zucchini. You could put in squash. You could put in and cut up just regular onions. And believe it or not, the flavor of these are just absolutely wonderful in all of this. So, I got chicken breast cooking here. I'm going to move it around. I'm going to give you an idea in just a moment here. And we're going to flip these, and I'm going to show you the textureness and the browning of the chicken here in just a moment. So let's kind of turn the attention here towards the babies. And as you see, they're going to cook. Let them cook. Give it a few minutes. I'm going to turn this around here in just a few minutes, and you're going to see. So, as I'm doing this, make sure you evenly cook it. So if you need to turn the plate a little bit, you got it. Now, I have that on medium heat. I'm going to turn it up a little higher. One of the things that I like to do is add onion to the mixture right at the very beginning. Now, it cooks in, it gives it some flavor. It does a really good job. Now, you're going to be wondering, why did he add onion first? Well, as you can hear it sizzling, it cooks in with a little bit of the flavor, which is even more wonderful. And I like to add a little bit of the Parmesan and garlic. Now, this is a 4-in-1 kind of herb seasoning that I pick up. Generally, you can buy these at any local convenience store, local grocery mart. You can also go to a place like Aldi's or Walmart, Target, whatever it may be. And I'm not promoting any of that, but I like the brand that they have. It's called Stone Mill. And generally, I like to sprinkle any seasoning. I wait till the end because when you're cooking anything, that flavor can cook off. So you kind of want to wait till the end to put any of that seasoning on. You'll see why in a few minutes as we get into this. Now, I'm going to turn it back to the chicken. As you see, it's cooking very well. Let's flip it. Let's get that chicken. It's starting to brown really nicely. Excellent. You see that the butter, this butter that it was in here, it is it's picked up. So I'm adding just a tiny smidge of oil. And it's cooking. Now, I'm going to give this about another 2 minutes. And then I'm going to remove the chicken. I'm going to put it on the cutting board. And I'm going to let it sit for about 2 to 3 minutes while I cook the onions and the mushrooms and add the Marsala wine. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to add some chicken stock. Now, if you like a thicker sauce, you can always use a little bit of cornstarch and hot water mixed together. That is in French cuisine, they call that a slurry. A slurry can be used to thicken up any sauce. It can be used for this dish right here, depending on the consistency that you want. If you want a little bit thicker of a sauce to go over this, you can have it. Now, I cook for 5 kids. I have twins. My fiance has twins and a young one. The youngest one is very picky. She's the only one who will eat chicken by itself. But don't worry, all the others do as well. So if you're cooking for 5 kids, it's always a lot of fun. So we're almost done with this chicken here being cooked off a little bit. We're going to give it about another minute or so. And as we get into this, let me show you the consistency. If you can see that browning, that golden brown texture is what we want. Dip it in egg, put it in the flour, get the olive oil, get the butter, let it cook. Don't want to use canola oil because you're cooking with onions and mushrooms and great other things as well with the wine. So once we get this browned enough, we're going to take this off and put it on the cutting board. And we're going to let that rest for about 2 minutes. A few minutes. All right, excellent. So, now here comes the fun part. As you see, the caramelization of these onions turned out really well. We're going to add more onions. Get them all in there. We're going to add some green onion. Just for a little bit of color, we're going to add the mushrooms. So, as you see, it's gotten really brown really quick. So we're going to add, the next step of this, we are going to add some Marsala wine to this. You can also add chicken stock first, or you can add the Marsala wine. I like to add the Marsala wine because you can get that flavor engulfed and everything. Oh, buddy. Look at that fire. See that? It's cooking right off. Now, if my fiance saw me with this right now and this fire heading up, she'd be going nuts over this. So we're going to keep that to ourselves right now. Now, as the fire dwindles down, you see how the look at that. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Now, we're going to put in the chicken stock. As you see, it got a little bit cooked. Now, I generally have 2 cups. I'm only going to need about a cup worth, cup and a half of this chicken stock. And as you see, it's already working its way. It's getting thickened already. Now, one of the wonderful things about this dish is that you can add more wine or you can add some cream to it. You can add heavy cream. You could add just a little bit of milk. I'm going to add a little bit of water. I mean, a little bit of Marsala wine, excuse me. Now, I didn't use much of the Marsala wine here. For all intents and purposes, I used about a cup and a half. And I used about a cup and a half of chicken stock. You can use regular chicken stock at the store. You can use chicken stock that you can make. Luckily, I had chicken stock right from chicken. You boil water and have the chicken inside, and then it makes its own flavorful stock. Now, we're going to stir this up. As you see, the mushrooms are already cooking. I have that wonderful onion in there that's already glazed. The juices are cooking down. Everything's starting to come together here. So we're going to take about a minute here and let that cook off. Now, we're going to add chicken back to this dish. So the chicken can cook inside the sauce. And I'm going to show you that in just a moment. I just wanted to make sure I move the camera. As you see, it's cooking. Now, we're going to give that just a few minutes to cook here. So we're continuing on with this wonderful dish, chicken Marsala. And what we're doing here we're going to add a tiny bit of heavy cream. So we have that in the mixture here to be able to stir it up a little bit. Now it's getting a nice consistency and glaze. Like I said earlier, you can add a little bit of cornstarch to this to make it thicker. The wonderful part about it is that it automatically thickens up as this dish heats up. And as you can see, it's going to be good. I like to add the seasoning at the end. So I add some garlic and Parmesan to this mixture. Why? Because when you add the seasoning at the very beginning, like I said, it doesn't really take, it can cook off. You have a lot of ingredients on here. Add a little bit of garlic instead also. Now, I don't normally add salt or pepper to a dish. If you choose to do that, that's for your individual personal taste. I mean, I'm not going to tell you, hey, I'm going to put salt and pepper in the dish and you're going to like it. But, hey, you can do what you want. So, now, I'm turning these breasts around just real quick. And I want to get a good glaze here before I get a picture of this. Thank you for taking the time to watch this wonderful video on chicken Marsala. I'd like to say thank you to the Sage program to allow us to get this video to you. I hope you've enjoyed, and you probably have had chicken marsala in your lifetime. But if you'd like to have that dish, you can ask your senior community dietitian or whoever the preparers may be that will help assist you in having such a wonderful meal. Thank you. I look forward to hopefully meeting you all, and have a great week.